Ready? Got kind of an interesting one today. This kind of a expansion on yesterday's idea. If you missed yesterday, we trophied with this mono black. Let's see. We trophied with this mono black Super Shredder Sephiroth deck, playing Glaring Fleshraker and K Command. These cards, Sephiroth and Super Shredder, are very good with a bunch of spawn tokens to play. Your Super Shredder gets really big, really fast, and Sephiroth just like flips it immediately. So that was really cool. And so I wanted to kind of lean into the Agatha Soul Cauldron Yawgmoth Ballista game plan a little bit, where if you Cauldron a Ballista onto a Yawgmoth, then obviously you just win the game with a Sephiroth in play. But you also have an infinite power Super Shredder, infinite power creature with minutes. A lot of times just going to win the game. Um, and then there's I think a lot of other stuff to like about the shell, the consistency you get from Dredger's Insight, Rumble, the ability to just you're playing a little bit of a Yawgmoth shell. I'm only playing 2 Yawgmoths, which I feel weirdly really good about. I think that Yawgmoth's kind of high on the mana curve in these decks, and you're really leaning into the grind via like Cauldron, Ballista, K Command, Super Shredder, and Sephiroth. Now, we're playing K Command in this deck. K Command is the best. It may be just the best card of Modern. It's really high up there, but it's also the kind of card that when you're playing an archetype that is traditionally weak to Boros and Prowess, it's a card that gives you a lot of percentage points in both those matchups. In addition to just being very, very powerful with Walking Ballista, Super Shredder, Sephiroth, the ability to go like K Command into a big Ballista. I'm not sure how important that is yet, but I'm trying to figure it out. Yesterday I had Stranglgeists instead of Walleroots, and I ended up messing around with the list some and realizing that the double green on Stranglgeist is just not really a starter. I really do like that card a lot with how you can like with the haste unlock some loops where you can like tap the Stranglgeist for mana with Delighted Halfling. Instead, we're just gonna go for Wall of Roots to go infinite with Young. If you go Cauldron, Walking Ballista, Cauldron, Wall of Roots onto a Young Wolf, you can win the game because you can reset the Undying with the Wall of Roots counter. Let's see. Yeah, Yawg is maybe a bit of a backup plan. The thing is also you have so much dig that you're gonna find a Yawgmoth, somewhat often anyways. At one point this deck was Brood Scale. The Brood Scale stuff is a lot harder to fit into the deck than the Yawgmoth stuff. And also with Brood Scale, I would like to play Glaring Fleshraker, and it's really difficult to also include that too. So, excuse me, the Yawg stuff a bit easier to include. I'm still kind of sick today. Gonna be keeping this. Kind of looks like a pretty normal Yawg hand with weird mana. On the draw against a Wooded Foothills. Wooded Foothills Scalding Tarn. Or sorry, Sacred Foundry and Striker Witch. So we're on the draw against Storm. Maybe a little light on the Storm hate here. Yeah, maybe a little light. A lot of Storm lately. That does work. I mean, I know it does work. Like I've died to the combo a bunch. It does work, but I'm pretty sure that is how it works. Trying to think what the advantages are of rumbling versus cauldroning here. Or sorry, rumbling versus Wall of Roots. Like I can kind of try to aggressively kill my own Wall of Roots to assemble that combo, so I can make it a 2/2 by the time it comes down. Following turn. Also can maybe cast Yawgmoth next turn, so let's do this. Wall of Roots with no Court of Calling. Yeah, well, so I mean, we have 3 copies of Wall of Roots in our deck. I don't know if that makes Court of Calling all of a sudden like a good card here. Court of Calling, I think it's just gotten way worse with how efficient the removal is in Boros and Prowess. It is it's a bit of a nightmare trying to resolve that card. They do have a Past in Flames in Exile here. And they have now enough mana to flash it back and hit 2 mana Morphoses and a Reckless Impulse. They flash back the Strike It Rich first. Not exactly sure what the point of that is, because they cast it. I'm not exactly sure what the point of that is. I guess it's so that they could just flash back Striker Rich for 1 mana if they fizzle. It's interesting. Nice thing chord is it gets Ballista X equals 0. I mean, that is a thing for sure. It's not really a super good use of Chord of Calling, you know what I mean? It's but it can be relevant for sure. They hit a Ral. Storm is a pretty funny deck. It's like it was like immediately a breakout deck from MH3, and then it had like one of the worst Pro Tour performances of like any deck that people have. Like, wait, they're targeting Yawgmoth with this? Is just gonna undie? What the hell? All of the target. Okay. So, no, some of them are going at Walroots, and then some of them are going at me. So the Walroots dying is so in some ways good, although I can't Cauldron the Ballista and the Yawgmoth, or and the Walroots all in one go. And then they flip the Ral. If they lose this flip, we're in pretty reasonable shape. But they won the flip. Let's just go and pack it in. All right, so I'm gonna bring in the Thief of Existences here. I think they're pretty good against Artist Talent and Ruby. Maybe I should be bringing them in. I think I want to try. I'm gonna bring in the Thoughtseizes. I'm gonna cut the K commands. I do think this is a matchup where they really are not very good. Probably want to go down a copy of Dredger's Insight also. Fulminator honestly doesn't seem like the worst ever. I might be interested in some Fatal Pushes, although I can kill Rao sometimes with like Cauldron, Ballista, and Yawg. Pretty slow though. I'll play one push over one Dredger's Insight. It's fine. Hard to mulligan a Thoughtseize. Did the sewer list find its feet? It mostly seemed like the sewer Valence deck was worse because of the sewer combo. I think we're supposed to take the impulse there. That's the card that digs them the deepest. It was like I liked the April Glaring Fleshraker stuff, and then I didn't particularly care for the sewer combo, and I think sewer combo is just not very good. Is where I'm at the moment. I know that it did have some no surveil. I know it did have some early success, but it hasn't been okay. They hit a Ral, they hit a Ritual. It's pretty bad. Pretty tough matchup, honestly. Maybe I should just play K command over the push through Ral. Probably was correct. It's like I think that I don't know if people were running hot with it. Like I kept hearing reports about from Dingo stream too, where he was like, I don't know what happened. Dingo just always had a non-summoning sick every play, top deck like a god, and you know you're gonna run hot with these decks initially sometimes, but when I've been playing, like there's almost no deck I'm happier to see than Sewer Combo. It's just so easy to play against. You just literally keep Emry off the field, and their deck is so wet noodly. Yeah, I probably should have kept in some K commands. I mean, they're just kind of slow, but does seem like a very tough matchup. Maybe we should be having some Maze still in the sideboard. They do hit 2 Arid Maces here. Storm can beat Infinity Life. It cannot beat Infinite Life, so I guess you just meant to say can't instead of can. Yeah, maybe. What about the precursor Fleshraker decks? It seems it's not been explored in a while. Seems very strong. We trophied with that deck the last time we played it. Then we kept exploring it, and we kept losing to Boros and Prowess. And there are definitely a lot of like combo decks like these Fleshraker stuff, and like I think this is also, you know, I'm not that excited about the April Fleshraker deck, the new version potentially. I mean, it might be okay, but I'm a little sick again today. I'm sorry. I keep getting sick. It's that time of year. How often does this deck win without the combo? You do like K commands, like Sephiroth trigger a good bit. So on the draw against Overgrown 2 Moonshadow. People are really attached to their Golgari decks. We are playing Golgari today. Second Moonshadow. Pretty scary stuff on the play, although they just have a Bojuka Bog. I'm not a big Bojuka Bog believer. If you're playing a Moonshadow deck, you just need to max out on fetches and fetchables, I would think. That's top deck cake, man. Yeah, you know, I found out not that long ago, like embarrassingly recent. I found out that allergens are worse here in DFW than they are in like most places of the world. Uh, I didn't know. Uh, I mean, if you have a street wraith, then you can kill the halfling. Good for you. Okay, they fatal push the halfling. It's fine. Oops, all Sephiroths. Maybe I want to sack the halfling. Yeah, I guess the wall of roots do block a bit better. Could also not take damage. Okay, there's a Dredger's Insight. Let's see if we can find a Yawgmoth off this. We found a Super Shredder or a Cauldron. I feel like the Super Shredder is really good with just like against their deck. They're going to be naturally growing it. Let's go ahead and grab that. Also get to gain a life. So maybe they'll get a Dryad Arbor and sack it to the white of the Reliquary. That would trigger the Sephiroth. They get a Breeding Pool. Untapped. It's too early for this. It's nonsense. Then they Green Sun for 1. They get an Ignoble Hierarch. So they attack with everything. I am pretty interested in trading. I don't really think I want to chump block because they're going to grow the Moonshadow to 3/3. Maybe they get Sajiri's Step. Okay, they're going to Surveil looking just for a 4th creature, sure. Or not a 4th creature, one creature to make this 4 power. They keep a card on top instead. They do grow both Moonshadows. I gain. Wait, did Sephiroth only trigger one time? Oh, it doesn't trigger on itself, right? Not a Blood Artist. So a Black Source would be good to go Super Shredder into Sephiroth here. So I draw a Yawgmoth. Let's go ahead and lead on the Yawgmoth. Play Sephiroth, gain 2, deal you 1, draw a card. Alright, a little late, but happy to get to play the Super Shredder here. So we got 2 4/4 Moonshadows. Yeah, I haven't seen White of the Reliquary in a long time either. Maybe my opponent will just cast their Quantum Riddler, although they did keep a card on top. They hard cast a Kaito. Then they tap my Super Shredder. And then they just pass the turn. So if I play another Sephiroth, I can get 2 Sephiroth triggers. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I can flip my Sephiroth here by just playing both of these. I guess I want to be able to top deck K command because it's the best draw. So I'm gonna tap like this first. So I'm gonna keep this. My Super Shredder is gonna get pretty big, although I've got a stun counter on it still. Starting town, gonna enter tapped. So this Sephiroth is triggered 2 times, and then it'll trigger 4 times, or it'll have triggered a total of 4 times after I play the other one here, which is really funny. I think I'm just gonna be sacking the Wall of Roots again. I guess I just kill them, don't I? Assuming my counting is correct here. Yeah, I just attack them for 5, and then I sack the Young Wolf and the Super Shredder for lethal. Weird game. Drew 2 more lands, but don't think they've got a Fatal Push as their one mystery card here. 5/5 flyer. When it attacks, you can sack any number of creatures. And we have an emblem, a Blood Artist emblem. Okay, so we're up a game against Golgari. Sorry, Sultai Kaito Moonshadow. Let's bring in the Fatal Pushes. Super Shredder seems great. We're gonna go down an Insight in a Wall. Click submit. Maybe we could go down to Ballista. You know, I think I'm gonna keep a probably keep a wall, go -1 Ballista. So I guess I'll recap a little bit of what happened yesterday. I updated this build to have the Wall of Roots, and then I put this together. I think this build does look pretty sick. I know it's kind of like iterate. Wait, why don't? Okay, I don't know why I don't have the other 2 Fatal Pushes here. Whatever. I feel like this build looks really sick. Super Shredder is also a payoff for Warren Soul Trader. If you loop Soul Trader, your Shredder gets 2 bigger each time you do the loop. And so you get to be like weirdly a faster and a more interactive building the deck this way. Maybe not faster necessarily because we're not playing the 1-drop that makes a treasure when you sack it anymore. But you get to be a pretty fast version. I'm not really sure about like 4th Apprentice versus 3rd Sephiroth here. I think I could see that change happening, but I feel like this build looks really good. Fistel to 26 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, we'll keep this on the draw for sure. And then, with the April Glaring Fleshraker deck, I wanted to play it again, and I wanted to just not play the Sewer Valence combo, but I don't know exactly how I'm building it. It is a lot of slots, and I don't know if I want to play like Ugin's Labyrinth, Emrakuls and stuff. I might want to play like some Curiosities. I was thinking about maybe splashing Vivi also. A lot of options. Get Festel to 26, appreciate you. Oblivion to the 28, appreciate you. I'm sure this Vanessa does, but Moonshadow doesn't fit. Yeah, hold on, gotta take a call. Hey, 1 second. Wait, sorry about that. Some family stuff going on. I think let's go Wall of Roots, Ballista on 1. Kill the Hierarch. Oh my gosh, I misclicked. Oh my gosh. Oops. I like felt my hand twitch and like slide to the left there. Thanks, Mike, over the 55. Now there's like definitely gonna Ghost Quarter my Temple because it seems like I'm scared of the Ghost Quarter. Gorehound K command. I'm not a big Gorehound believer still, but the card is sick. Okay, then they Green Sun for 1 so they can get more exalted. Crazy Sultai build. Okay, let's concede with bricking completely on the Rumble there. 3 lands and a Fatal Push. Go to game 3. On the play for game 3. I'm going to play this 4th Ballista, seeing that they're playing 8 Hierarchs. Seems pretty reasonable. Maybe we'll move away from the Insights. Alright, beautiful hand. Let's keep. I guess I'm going to lead on the Boseiju, so I don't have to take any damage off the starting town necessarily. I drew a Super Shredder. So we win the game next. I guess we don't win the game next turn. We don't win the game next turn. We can make an infinite power Super Shredder next turn, which is... Oh, it is a win. Sorry, I forgot. If you Cauldron Ballista with the Super Shredder gets infinite power, and the infinite power is also a win, because you have the infinite counters to remove with the Ballista. So we do win the game next turn. Do you feel like Moonshadow puts too much pressure on our mana base unnecessarily? In this deck, I mean, we're not playing that many fetch lands, or sorry, we're not even playing Vistas. Wait, sorry, did I land on Vista in this build? I'm a little sick. I'm just still. It's all blending together. Yeah, we are playing Vistas, but we're not. We're also not playing Baubles. We're not playing Street Wraith. We only have 4 fetch lands. They don't trigger off spawn tokens like Shredder does. It doesn't combo. I guess it does combo with this, but it doesn't have. It does combo with this too, so that might be an interesting angle, but Shredder Ballista, right? I'm a little confused, but all right. Sephiroth also wins. Super Shredder was here first. With Bog, they could have made you burn the counter and then Bog themselves. That's true, yeah. All right, GG. Cool. Oh, that's right. Moonshadow caps at 7. That's right. Although it caps at 7. You're right. So it's not a payoff for the combo. All right, well, definitely keeping this. My opponent leads on a Flooded Strand and then they pass the turn. I'll play a Temple, so the ability to K-command a 2-drop next turn, like if they're representing Felia. Would Bitter Ordeal be a good sideboard card for this deck? That card's not like close to playable in Modern. Don't even just literally delete that card from your mind. Like that card is like. Okay, hold on. I might F6 that or I might undo that. Let me reread Bitter Ideal. It is kind of sick with. Okay, search your target player. Oh, you only get 1 card. Okay. Okay, it would be super sick if it was like Necro with All right. If they have the combo already, good for them. I'm gonna make spawns. Okay, it would be really cool though if it was like a surgical, so like you got all copies for each copy of Gravestorm and you got to go K command into that. It is pretty cool. But only 1 card is like kind of a non-starter, I think. So they probably take my Sephiroth now, right? This is maybe not the hand you would expect to see after Eldrazi Temple K command, make 2 spawns. I'm imagining after Big K command, it copies itself respawn. Yeah, I mean, I understand that that's the vision, but it's just like, if you insert like it seems like if you got like let's say 8 cards, which is like way higher than you're gonna get on average, it's still not that good. It's not even impacting the board at all. They've got another frog here. They did leave me with the Sephiroth. Let's go ahead and play it. Maybe they have a removal spell for it. Okay, Solitude, pitch Solitude. Is their last card Quantum Riddler? They're kind of implying that it is by doing this pre-combat. Although I guess they would maybe do this with Frog. Just to like attack. No, it is Riddler. Uh-oh. They discard a Frog, which It's interesting. They could have just cast this frog. It bodes poorly for us, I suppose. Opponent for color good stuff. This is Espergorios. The breeding pool is just a hard cast Atraxa. I'll take a draw step. Let's see what we can do. We can go to game 2. Alright, I'm going to bring in the Emrakul. We have a lot of main deck graveyard hate with the Cauldrons and the K commands, which is why we're not sideboarding any. I think I'm going to go down to Ballista. They attack from so many different angles. It's, you know, it's very difficult to sideboard against them. One nice thing is, like, you have, like K Command's really good at answering Frog on the play, so we don't necessarily need to be bringing in Fatal Push. They don't necessarily even have other good targets for Fatal Push. We could be playing the Thoughtseizes as well. I'm gonna play 2 Thoughtseizes over 2 Insights and then click Submit. Maybe if this was paper and I felt that the Infinite Life combo was reasonably a way I could win the game, then I'd keep it in. But this is Magic Online, and they can just say, okay, cool story after you gain Infinite Life. Alright, let's play the Wall of Roots. Next turn we can go Super Shredder into Cauldron if they don't kill my wall. Did you ever play Dandan? I'm gonna look at your chat history, Mac. I feel like you asked me this last week. I have played Dandan once. I don't think it's very interesting format. I'm gonna have a hot take. Dandan is the kind of format you play literally one time and you're like, okay, that was something. Alright, so we need to play the Cauldron this turn to not get got by Gorios. See if they have a Force of Negation. Not a hot take. Okay, I'm good. Have we played Feisty Spikeling Nibiru? I mean, you know the answer to that question. I don't get the Dandan hype either. I've played it a couple times. I watched some gameplay and played Plan Repeat very quickly. Yeah, it's like, it's kind of like quirky for sure. Dandan, Magic's quirkiest format. The new Ristic Studies video. So they have a Prismatic Ending. They go after the Cauldron. Does grow my Super Shredder. Do they have a third land? They do. It's a Marsh Flats, which could also grow my Super Shredder here. Let's get ready to rumble. I find an Eldrazi Temple. We mill a K command. Maybe I'm sacking. Maybe I was gonna sack the spawn token. Decided let's not. Or sack the Wall of Roots. Let's sack the spawn. All right, and getting in. So next turn we can go 3/3 Ballista. Sink, ping them for 3 down to 8, and then attack with Sephiroth, trigger the Super Shredder. The Ballista triggers the Super Shredder. The Ballista also triggers the Sephiroth. So we have a lethal next turn. My opponent also has a bunch of cards in their hand, and they're probably gonna do something scary. Scary. Tough. We could maybe we're pretty dead. Let's pivot over to the Soul Trader variant. I know we're playing. I know a lot of these decks are kind of repetitive. I wanted to get to the Golgari one, but I do think that historically we have the best results with Soul